Welcome to Bowie High School, home of the Bowie Bulldogs. We're going to get started with an introduction, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. I am an American descendant of slaves, born in California, raised in the Midwest and in the southern states of the United States. My family is originally from Tennessee. When I was in the 6th grade, we moved to Germany, and I lived there from 6th grade to 12th grade. When I returned to the United States, I went to Tennessee State University for my undergraduate degree, and then I moved to New York to work in television, and while there, I received my master's degree from the Steinert School of Education. I then moved to Los Angeles to continue working in television, and I began working at Thomas Jefferson High School. During that time, I met a really great group of kids with whom I'm still in touch with to this day, and they inspired me to continue teaching, and I have been teaching for more than 20 years. One of my favorite hobbies would be photography. I also enjoy woodworking, which is a fairly recent hobby, and I enjoy decorating, a little bit of crafting, and I've also recently learned to sew. One of my favorite quotes is attributed to Shakespeare, and the quote is, "Those who dance are thought mad by those who hear not the music." And recently I took a personality test, and it suggested that my true color is orange, that my strength is skillfulness, that I value skills, I dislike rigidity and authority, and that I express optimism and impatience. And I think that throughout our time together, you'll probably find those things to be true. And last but not least, if you hear any barking or panting, that would be my fur baby, Cleo. She is 11 years old, and she is a miniature schnauzer. We'll get back to the introduction slide in a moment, but I want to talk to you guys a little bit about some of the expectations. So I want to reiterate some of what you've heard in the beginning sessions with Mr. Jackson, Dr. King. The dress code, for the most part, follows the county's dress code, and you're expected to dress appropriately. Grades. You'll have a minimum of 2 grades per week. I want to stress the importance of trying to maintain at least a 3.0 GPA. If you find that that's a challenge, make it a point to not allow your grades to drop below a 2.0. Because at the annex, we have what we call a no D zone. Behavior. Remember that you represent your family. It's not just about you. So you always want to present your best behavior. I think we all know what that means, and we know what it looks like when people are misbehaving and when it goes beyond having a little bit of fun to becoming a problem. I do want to remind everyone that although we're not seeing each other in person, all of the school expectations and the students' rights and responsibilities as posted on the county's website still apply. And although we are open to being gracious, there are behaviors that will result in consequences if someone should, in particular, violate the acceptable use policy and those behaviors that are acceptable via online or via the internet. Digital citizenship. So we know that when we're online and we're on the internet, that we are to maintain our privacy, make sure that we're not sharing links and pictures and things with each other, with outside people, with people who are not a part of our classroom, people who are not a part of our school, adults outside of family, or more specifically, outside of your parent or guardian. Attendance will be taken at the start of every class and it will also be noted at the end of every class. I believe Mr. Jackson explained to you all the attendance policy and the number of absences that you're allowed to have, and when a doctor's note would be required. And Rosie the Riveter has often been an image that's associated with hard work. And so I want to say this to you guys, that some of us have ambitions to have 4.0 GPAs, or whatever the ambition may be. It's to participate in a sport in the spring of the year. But whatever it is that you want, I just want to remind you that you have to be willing to put in the hard work. And then guidance. We have a fantastic guidance team. Dr. Trusty and Mrs. Cowling are fantastic. So not only were they available to help you all with academics, they are also able to assist you if you're having problems at home or among your peer group. So as a recap, the Annex administrators are Mr. Jackson and Dr. King. Mr. Jackson will serve those of you whose last names are A through K, and Dr. King will serve those of you whose last names begin with L through Z. So you do have a homework assignment. This assignment is posted in Google Classroom. And what I'm asking that you do is that you create an introduction slide or a personality slide that tells me a little bit about you. When you go to Google Classroom, you will find that the slide is actually linked to a personality test. So you'll just click on that slide and it will take you to the personality test. And at the end of the test, it's going to give you your true colors. So on your slide, I'd like for you to include your true colors that reveal details about your personality and how you work. But I also would like for you to include a picture of yourself, Bitmoji or a memoji, a quote that represents you, hobbies that you have, and facts about you. So let me also give you a little bit of advice. There are apps where you can eliminate the backgrounds on pictures. So, for example, on the picture that I included of myself, there was a full background. But I removed the background in order to make this picture fit for my slide. Also, when you're working in slides, in Google Slide, you can insert an image directly from the web. You simply go to Insert, Image from Google search, and then you type in the pictures that you want. The only thing that I'm asking that you also consider is that when you type in your search, that you type in transparent background, and you'll see the backgrounds will have already been removed for you when you slide those images into your Google Slide. So at this time, I'm going to take a quick break and I need you to report to Google Classroom.